Chad, thank you so much for coming tonight. I loved hearing your story. A lot of that I definitely related to. Could you tell everybody where they can keep up with you with Mighty Oaks Foundation and with whatever you're going through?
Yeah, I mean, if you get on any of social media handles to follow me, just if you type in my name, Chad Robichaux, common spelling. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you guys got it. So yeah, Chad Robichaux. You can find me on all the social media, almost Facebook, Instagram. I'm probably on Instagram the most. But Mighty Oaks Foundation. If you go to mightyoaksprograms.org, any veterans listening, any active duty service members, any spouses of those or first responders, all the programs are free. We'd love to serve you. You don't have to struggle through the things that we talked about today on your own. And there is a solution. I'd love for you to give us a chance to serve you. And again, everything's free. Just go on the website and sign up. And one of our team members get to you right away. We have 30 camps a year, so lots of date options. And then while I say it's free to the veterans, it's not free to us. We have to pay for it, and we pay for it by a grateful nation. So if you're interested in supporting that cause, you go to mightyoaksprograms.org to make donations. Anybody interested in reading any of my books that we talked about today, Marriage Advance and Unfair Advantage is my newest book, which is endorsed by the president, by the way. It's out right now on Amazon or on our website at Mighty Oaks in Unfair Advantage. But in October, we're re-releasing it with a study, men's study in it. So
Chad, you just mentioned the president. Are you working at all with the president? Does he have you tasked to help? Because, I mean, the veterans issues that we talked about, the PTSD and the suicide issues, this is a crisis. And we as citizens, we as Americans have an obligation to help those who've been serving our country. Has the president talked with you at all? Do you talk with him at all about what can be done to help in some of these ways?
Yeah, I am. I'm assigned as the chairman of the FBVSA, the Faith-Based Veteran Service Alliance, which is a White House initiative, which is helping implement, bringing advocacy and implementation to all the policies the president's done. I am also a national board member for the campaign, so I'm speaking on veterans policy for the campaign. So I was just with the president and the vice president and Karen Pence as well. I was with them, about 30 cabinet members, and about 20 of us were guests. We were at the president at the White House when he rolled out the PREVENTS, which is the president's roadmap to empower veterans and end the national tragedy of veteran suicide. This president has done just an amazing job. I can speak firsthand, not from a campaign. I am on the campaign, but I'll tell you, the only reason I'm on the campaign is not because I'm cheerleading any candidate. I'm on the campaign because this man actually he took things that he said in the campaign and he put it in action. He put policy in place that is saving veterans' lives. I mean, of all the branches of the government, he's reduced the budgets in every branch of the government except for two areas: the Department of Defense and the VA. He's raised the budgets in those to equip our military, make them combat ready, and in the VA to be able to care for our warriors when they come home. In 2016, he was a candidate. I had a very rare opportunity, and I was able to ask him a question. I was one of 6 veterans that got to talk to him personally, and I asked him if he would reverse President Obama's decision. In 2009, President Obama made a decision to defund faith and community programs for the VA and the veterans, which took a suicide rate from 16 to 22 in only 4 years. Yep. And, so I knew faith programs are important because I do them, and I asked candidate Trump if he became president of the United States, would he turn that around? Would he sign an executive order to reverse that? He said yes, and 2 years later, he did. He kept his word. He signed an executive order on faith programs back in the VA. I'm working on helping implement that now, and him rolling out the PREVENTS policy and leaving every stone, no stone unturned, every option, cut all the government red tape and the bureaucracy, and bringing a solution to our warriors through faith programs, community programs, and engaging every American to do that. So, yeah, the answer to your question is yes, very much so. I think it's critical to the veteran community that the president stay in office.
Wow. Yeah. I've got to tell you something. This is just me speaking right now, okay? But listening to you here, there were times that I not only had goosebumps, but practically tears in my eyes about some of the things that you're talking about. These are real life issues. And to hear your story, even though I've read your book, I mean, you went into much more detail. And it was almost as if I could feel the stuff that you were going through. And I think you communicated that so well.
Thanks, Joe.
It's just not a theory or words or a policy, but you're talking about lives, and you're talking about children's lives and grandchildren's lives. And I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but I would love this is Eric will make this decision, and you as well. But love to have you and your wife on here sometime, because
Absolutely.
I think that the issue that you mentioned something as well. You mentioned that spouses can come to the programs, and I think sometimes we forget about that the military, the veteran, the service person has a spouse that also has needs, and I think it'd be very interesting for you.
It's the hardest job in the military, being a military spouse. I mean, I'm like, a lot of people pat me in the back, like, oh, you did 8 deployments to Afghanistan. I'm like, yeah, I had fun. My wife was like back home, being a mom, dad, husband, wife, all those things while I was gone. I was out there doing something I absolutely love. Having I mean, it was hard. Obviously, I struggled when I came back, but I was having the time of my life. I would never trade that for anything. And meanwhile, she was back home pulling her hair out. And I know that's a lot of spouses. They allow us to do what we do when we deploy. The spouses are an amazing part of the military and America's security.
Well, spouses need programs such as yours, because without programs like yours, they end up using the family courts as a resource, and that is a dead end. It's a death sentence for marriages.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons we initiated it. We just knew that we had to be able to offer we couldn't offer for what we had to offer for the whole family, because we believe in our core principles of Mighty Oaks is to save veterans' lives, to restore their families, and to change their legacies forever. So one, prevent veteran suicide, keep their marriages intact, and make sure they find a home in eternity, and the right home in eternity. So those 3 things are the most important to us, and we knew we had to serve the spouses as well. And when we say we're serving spouses, we have a women's program and a men's program. If we have a male spouse, they go into the men's program. We have a female spouse, they're going with the female veterans to the females program, because our programs, we don't care what they do for a living. If they're a housewife or a JAG officer or first female Navy SEAL, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your job's not your identity in the programs we run. So they all go together based on gender.
Yeah.
Only 2. We only have 2 genders.
That's right.
Wait a minute.
We only have 2 programs.
Well, I just want to say for myself, it is an honor to have you here. I'm so thankful. Thank you for making time for us. I mean, who are we that we get to talk with somebody? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time, and thank you guys for what you're doing, to talk about these issues and have a show about it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
Everybody, please go check out the Mighty Oaks Foundation. And Chad, thank you again, my man.
You bet. God bless, guys.
God bless you too.